And a good evening to everyone. It is Wednesday evening and a beautiful weather outside. We couldn't ask for anything better. Sunshine in this afternoon, and we've got more of that on the way tomorrow. That was not the case yesterday afternoon as we had strong storms move through the area, knock power off, and just through trees and limbs. It has been horrific, and for a storm that was so short lived for the damage that it's done last night. And we thought we'd do an update tonight as we all sit back and try to examine this. And I know we've had, what is it, the word I'm looking for? Family time. A lot of folks that didn't have power. Julie Boles joins me this evening from EMEPA. And good evening. How are you tonight?
Hi, Scotty Ray. I'm doing well, all things considered.
Yeah. Now, what was the height, total number out, the biggest number that y'all had?
Our biggest number of outages was just under 15,000, and that was shortly after yesterday's storm came through. Although we continued to see trees fall even after the storm passed because of rain and the ground being saturated, and then of course such strong winds. Even though it was short-lived, we had not seen some winds that strong in a long time, and so it did significant damage across the system.
And I was watching it as it came across the Newton County line. The closer it got to the end of Newton County and got near Lauderdale, the winds started picking up and getting worse and worse. And by the time they crossed over Chamberville out by Collinsville, it was whipping. And we even see this through downtown Meridian as well.
Yes, and that's really some of the hardest hit areas of our service territory too, and where we still have the bulk of our outages. Lauderdale County really got hit hard. We saw significant damage pretty much across our entire service area of Lauderdale County. And of course, we did have other areas of damage in the rest of our service counties of Winston, Kemper, and Clark, but not quite as significant as Lauderdale County.
Now, where did y'all start working last night? Where were you today? And then we'll end up with where do you expect to go from here and how long, that type of thing. Where'd you start out at last night?
We started with all of the crews out of each of our branch offices worked in their service area. So our Winston, Kemper, Clark County line crews were working in those areas last night. Once they have finished up some of the work in those areas, everyone has headed to Lauderdale County. And so we have really had crews dispatched all over Lauderdale County today, as well as into tonight. We still have the guys out there working. We also have assistance from contract crews that are helping us as well, both right-of-way and line crews.
So you've got extra men on the job helping out with this.
That's right. We have 6 contract crews from MDR that are working with our EMEPA crews, and they've been working with us really since the onset of the storm.
We've got in the background, we've got the report outage map pulled up on the screen so everybody can take a look at that. And we're showing here north of Tumsuba areas here to the east of Meridian a lot, and then out toward the Nellyburg area. I'm seeing a lot of places in those areas. Where are you are y'all still working tonight is my next question. What areas are you in?
Yes, we are. Right now we have several crews out in the Nellyburg, Cicalina, over into Newton County, in that area tonight. That is where we have the most, the largest cases of outages that remain are in that area. And like you said, we do have some others. We have some around Tumsuba, Kiwani. We have some up north of the Navy base that we have crews dispatched to. And we do have some in South Lauderdale County as well. We have some, still a couple out in the Clarkdale community, and we have crews out that way this evening. They will be working tonight. Of course, safety is a foremost concern, and so this has been over 24 hours now that we have been in the bulk of this restoration efforts. And so tonight, safety for those crews is a concern. And so they will work until the fatigue and the go and go has just wore them to where it's not safe, and they will have to come in and get some rest this evening later. But it is not likely that they will come in until probably about midnight.
We just got a note. Barbara Williamson popped up on the screen that said Nellyburg has just come back on. So that's good news for those folks in that area. Also, we got a note here that says Pine Springs Road just came back on. Linemen are working there. It just came back on Pine Springs Road. So that's good news.
That's good news. It's always good news when we got folks coming online.
All right, we had a question from Sheila Morgan that came in and says, do you know anything right off of I-20 near the Chunky Duffy area? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, and you may not have all the information in front of you.
Yes, absolutely. From our internal outage maps, I actually can see that area right now, and we have we do have a crew on site right there along Chunky Duffy Road right now. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see. It looks like we have, yes, right here along, is it Coffee Cup Road here, close to Chunky Duffy? We've got a couple of crews out there right now. So yes, that is, Newton County, and then the west side of Lauderdale County there are where we are seeing some of the largest cases of outages right now. But we do have crews working in that area tonight.
Well, that's good news, and I like how you can pinpoint where your crews are at. I like that.
On our internal outage map, we can see where our folks are. So I can tell you if we've got folks in that area and where we have crews dispatched, and we're just working as quickly as we can. I know it's stressful, and it creates a lot of inconvenience and hardship on our members to be without power for an extended amount of time. But we understand the frustration, and so we're just working as quickly as we can to get it restored to every single one of our members.
You're getting a bunch of thank yous on there. Do you know anything? We had a mention off of Chandler Road, which is right past Walmart on Highway 19, where you take that right and you'd go down toward the country store. Do you know anything of that area through there past Walmart?
Okay, yeah, let me look. I know let's see. Chandler Road. I see a truck on Chandler Road right now.
Oh, that's even better. You're 2 for 2 so far.
Sorry, quit asking me questions. I may not find one now.
Let me ask this.
Yes, but we do have folks on Chandler Road, and we have a crew dispatched to that area.
Have y'all had, and I know when we've had these ice storms and we've had, the horrific thing that we had years ago with Katrina, have y'all had any issues with the linemen bumping into the problems with generators being hooked up incorrectly this go round? Have you heard any of that?
I have not gotten any reports about that, but we do, I'm glad you brought it up because we do always want to remind our members, to use generators safely. And so it does create a hazard, danger for our crews if generators are not properly tied into the electrical wiring of your home. So if you do want a generator installed into the wiring of your home, it does need to be performed by a certified electrician because it will backfeed onto our lines and can create a deadly situation for our crews.
All right, I got a couple of more locations that people are asking about. Mosley Road in Collinsville, that area, Mosley Crossing Road.
Okay, let's see.
And for Julie's sake, y'all, when somebody throws a name on you and you've got to find it on a map and it's huge, I understand what you're going through of trying to find one. It's called being put on the spot, isn't it?
It is. And I know a lot of times I don't have the ability to type a street name into the map and pinpoint directly to it, so it really is a matter of zooming in and moving my mouse around and trying to find it. So
and that's the way
I'm not finding Mosley Road right now, but we do have several cases, scattered outages across our system, and we do have some out in the Collinsville area. And we've got trucks out there rolling on the ground. I can see them, but I can't pinpoint street by street for every specific location.
Had another question. This one is sort of I know the general area to put you in the direction of Twiddly Branch, which is Hamrick Road, which would be just east of Highway 19. We're getting some questions there. And also get another question about Lost Gap.
Okay, let's see.
And let me see if I can pull up a different map while we're talking to where that might help a little bit. And again, I apologize for just totally putting you on the spot on these because it can be rough to find sometimes.
Yes, it can be. Especially a lot of the smaller roads are hard to find on the map. One thing about our internal outage map too is we see, I can see our power lines on the map, and if they are out, they are highlighted in red, and so that sometimes makes it more difficult to read the street names.
Right. All right, I am, let me pull this up and see if, all right, I kind of, all right, I know about where, all right, let me pull this map up where everybody can see this, and I'll describe it to you on the first question that we had here. And again, as we look at this, the Mosley Road, if you were going toward Collinsville, before you get, you know where Allen Swamp Road is? That's on the right-hand side of the road.
Sir.
It's going to be your,
Yes.
it's going to be to the left of there, due north and west of there. If you were to turn off on, it's just to the west of there. It'll be northwest of that area there, before you get into Collinsville in that area. I don't know if you can see anything on your map of working in that area. It doesn't quite reach. It would run into Highway 494 is what it would run into. If you go past where you would turn at the Cicalina Fire Department, go due north, go past Allen Swamp Road, and it'll be on your left-hand side of the road is where that would be.
Okay, I think I'm getting close to it here.
This is like a pop quiz back in high school, isn't it?
This is like those children books. Where's Waldo's? What it feels like. Mm-hmm.
Oh, have mercy. And I understand if you can't locate it exactly there, but you do have crews in the general area.
We do, and I am seeing a lot of small outage cases scattered all over the area. So I'm sure that it is one of those cases. But if anybody is if they think that maybe we don't know that their power is out, you can certainly report an outage to us if you think that it may have been missed, or you think that we may not be aware of it. We certainly encourage you to report that outage. Generally, with the automated metering system that we have, if our system is not getting a reading from your meter, it will automatically be flagged for a predicted outage. But of course, if anyone wants to call in or go to our website or use our smartphone app to report an outage, that's always welcomed as well.
Your guys are getting a lot of thank yous from the Dalewood area of numerous trees and damage, and got some folks on out there, and they're doing some thank yous. Let me ask the $1 million question here.
We appreciate them. Okay.
What you've got left of the 1,600 to 1,700 people without power right now, what would you say realistically a timeline is if you're sitting without power tonight, everybody back on? What type of timeline would you put that at?
Well, we do hope to make significant progress tonight. Of course, if we mentioned safety potentially being an issue due to the amount of time and the hours that those guys have been out there already working. If you were to not have your power restored by around midnight tonight, then it will probably be in the morning before you would get power restored. And it is very likely that we will continue working into tomorrow morning. But we are still hoping to make significant progress tonight. We still have trucks all over our service area. I can see them out on the outage map. And so these guys have replaced over 40 broken poles today. And we're still finding broken poles. The further our right-of-way crews get into the damaged areas, the more poles we're finding. Our crews have cleared thousands of trees off of power lines today. So the damage was significant. So we just appreciate the patience and the support and the encouragement from our members. It really helps to keep the spirits high for these guys and to keep them motivated and moving forward and pressing on.
So worst case scenario, if you don't get it tonight, strong chance it'll be back on sometime in the morning.
It's very likely that we will get all outages restored sometime tomorrow, hopefully tonight, but it's very likely that we will continue with the restoration efforts into tomorrow.
Now, looking at the big map that I've got pulled up here for the entire state of Mississippi, the last time I had looked, we were still at, I think we started out around 65 or 66,000 statewide this morning. It is now down to 33,600 at this point. So it is coming down. Y'all took a big number out of that.
We did. We took a large number, and then of course our neighbors, Central Electric, Southern Pine Electric, they both had significant outages as well. So we're just all in this together, and we're doing the best we can and working as hard as we can.
And y'all have worked some kind of hard. Julie, thank you for taking time and talking with us tonight about this. Thanks, everybody, for the post of asking questions here, there, and yonder. And we got most of them answered. And hopefully your power will be back on. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And
thank you, Saturday.
We'll be in touch tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Julie Boles again with EMEPA joining us tonight to talk with us about the power outages and that hopefully all that's going to be back on. Okay, we're going to do this, and again, this is live. I've got some, as I mentioned last night, I've got some equipment ordered. It's not here, so there's no way I can do this quietly and discreetly without just doing it live. So what we're going to do now, our next interview is going to be with the police chief of Meridian. He promises that he's going to answer the phone tonight. We're going to talk to the chief here in just a moment, and I'm going to dial him. And again, this is just live. We may or may not get through. We had problems last night, if you'll remember. And the problem that hit last night was there were so many phones being used. All of the stuff was out when it comes to cable. And so we were stuck with everybody was using their data on their phones, and it slowed down every phone call that there was out there. So that happened as we were trying to talk to Chris last night. And Chris joins us now. Chris, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm awesome. Hey, I get to talk to you finally.
Yeah, we finally got hooked up here. And for those joining us, this is Police Chief Chris Reed from the Meridian Police Department. Let's pull this picture up here where everybody will know what he looks like, who's on the other end of this line. We got your picture up now. And
hey, look, I'm just an employee number like everybody else.
My question is, how often do you wear a suit like this? Because I don't have a suit.
Well, I rented it just for that day for photography, and then I took it back. I kept the tag on it.
See, there you go.
That's a joke.
Let's talk about Meridian. That was one of the first times last night that we had gotten a curfew in quite some time. And is it better today? What was our hard-hit areas in Meridian last night?
Yeah, my goodness. I will say the reason we did that just is strictly for the citizens, for their safety, because obviously when we had a sudden storm that came on us like that and caused a lot of damage, extensive damage with trees and power lines down and transformers were blowing everywhere. We just didn't want the community and people and the citizens to get out and when we still have live wires and we can't see them because the sun goes down and it's nighttime. So we just wanted people to just be very careful. And I understand, and we understood as far as people wanting to check on the neighbors that went without power or trees may have fallen on their homes and stuff. And we completely understand that. We were just trying to make sure that they were safe and no other injuries or issues because of unwarranted travel.
Now, I saw a bunch of pictures. Was it Poplar Springs School? Was that area hit worse than other areas, or was that just a common look across town?
Yeah, it's basically a common look. I know that we had issues on North Hill Street. North Hill Street, for the most part, was just the traffic signals, the electric aspect of it. But 29th Avenue, 65th Avenue, 20th Street, especially where you have a lot of those old big oak trees and stuff in the areas and just congested areas like that we had a lot of issues with big trees coming down. And obviously, when you have tall pine trees, they snap real easy. And so areas there where we had a lot of pine trees in the city limits, we had major areas. 19 North, I think we had some major areas. 145 going out south of Meridian, 19 South also. But as far as those major highways like that with 1, 2, 3 trees or whatever, they were able to kind of get that cleared out fairly quick. But as far as inside the city, the more congestion it was that they had issues.
Now, do we still have areas that do not have red lights at this point, or do we still need to treat some areas as a four-way stop, so to speak?
Yeah, what I would do, and I actually did it this morning. I left at I left at 5 o'clock this morning, and so I know that some of the areas were cleared up as of last night, but I was still just being cautious and taking it easy. So I would definitely do that. I would pay attention more so during the daytime, obviously, because you can see better as far as the traffic signals. Some of the lights that have come on. They may be using the caution yellow, so just be mindful of that. Be careful of that, and I know we've created muscle memory and habit of knowing where the red lights are and what works, what doesn't work. We usually have a tendency to kind of blow by those,
Right.
but I'd still be a little cautious today. I know the power companies, man, my goodness, we've had some of them coming from the coast and all over, how they just come together and they're working tirelessly to get this taken care of. And I'm seeing on social media where power's coming back on and people saying, thank goodness, thank you so much or whatever. So it's just it's an unfortunate situation, but it's awesome to see how everyone comes together and helps one another.
Now, let's talk about this, and I'm sure that you have to deal with this every time there's a storm. People that are trying to scam people that need work done to their house, debris moved out of the yard, trees in their driveway. Have y'all had any reports so far of scams and we really don't want this happen to our elderly folks.
Right. Yeah. Look, anytime there's a tragedy, whether weather related or anything of that nature, you're going to have those that try to prey on who they consider the what I call, for lack of a better term, the weak.
Right.
That are more susceptible to listening to that can't physically get out and take care of things on their own. That they usually try to go after them on the phone and stuff like that. And I would just encourage people, because you're going to have that, and we have been seeing a little bit of those things going on. Is if you have an elderly neighbor and that they have damage and issues like that, my goodness, reach out to them. And I just don't want them to be susceptible to phone scams and people coming by and says, well, yeah, you just give me $1,500 down, and then after I clean it up or whatever, then you can just give me the rest. Just be mindful of that's one of the tactics that they use, and you get the $1,500 and they leave, you don't ever see them.
Yeah.
And so we just want to be careful about that. Just pay attention and watch after your community. And for the most part, a lot of people have been doing that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks that are helping neighbors, and we appreciate that throughout this whole ordeal. It helps the city. Let me ask this: the Meridian Police Department, y'all have been busy lately. One of the last ones that we posted that y'all done was it was a murder suspect, was it not? A takedown a few nights ago.
Correct. I'm trying. Is this in relation to the interstate who was a wanted fugitive out of Milwaukee?
That's him.
Yeah. See, a good thing about it is, and that's why Meridian Police Department, we work close with our federal partners, and I've mentioned this before, Scotty, is that people talk about how shorthanded not only Meridian Police Department is, but agencies across the state and across the nation. And that's, since I've been there for about 22 years, we've always been shorthanded. A lot of people just, it's not cut out for law enforcement. And but having said that, this day and age, we attribute it to what's going on across the nation. Reality is, look, in law enforcement, we're hated. All right.
Correct.
We are, for the most part, polarizing more so on social media and the news. And if you gather your news and facts by social media, then especially you're going to have a negative outlook on law enforcement as a whole. But people just don't want to choose that career, knowing that they're going to be hated, despised. It's going to be their fault no matter what. If the system fails, it's the police's fault. If it's this, it's the police's fault. But we understand that, and we realize that now. Now, compound that tenfold here in Meridian, specifically about Meridian Police Department. Now, I can only speak about Meridian Police Department because that's where I'm at.
Right.
Is you're in the middle of a mayoral election, re-election, and so people really don't know who's going to be the next mayor, who's going to be the department head, and so they're a little apprehensive on choosing a career path, especially at Meridian, until those things are taken care of. I will tell you that I've been inundated with calls from officers that are already sworn that used to work here for years, that are veterans, that have contacted me and said, hey, everything's looking good. If it turns out well in July, June, then I'd love the opportunity to come back. So we
good.
realize that. So, but having said that, That's why Meridian Police Department is partnered with all of our federal entities. I have TFO officers that are assigned to the FBI, DEA, HSI, ATF, U.S. Marshals, which gives me 24/7 access to probably 20 to 25 extra boots on the ground from our federal partners. So, to give you an example, our detective division, when they get warrants cut and signed by judges, they don't go out and serve them themselves. I'll have 12 to 15 U.S. Marshals come in and we'll do a warrant roundup, what I call it. So they go around and pick these individuals up, violent offenders, high-profile targets. They'll pick them up, bring them to our detective division, says, here you go, and the detectives process them and stuff. So that supplements my CID division.
Right.
And also federal partners supplement our patrol division. So it's working out great.
And it's taking some bad folks off the street. That at the end of the day, that's what's really good about it.
Yeah, and you have to understand, and people realize this. Look, I've heard from all the different candidates, whatever, and they say the same exact thing. Reality is you're not going to stop. You're just not going to stop crime. But there are a lot of things logistically and operationally, like I've been saying, that you can do to deter and prevent as much as possible. Now, when those individuals choose that style or that life of crime, when, not if, but when we catch them, I'm going to do everything in my power to prosecute them to the fullest. And 98% of ours, we try to get federal prosecution if it crosses that federal threshold. And a lot of ours does. So in the past 6 months, they've taken off, I think 14, I think it's 15 now, high profile targets that were local in Meridian. And then also we help the federal partners when they call us and says, hey, we have a wanted fugitive that's supposed to be in the area. And we concentrate on that. And we've taken 4 in the past 2 months that the feds were looking for. So I hate to say the word successful when you're talking about crime,
Right.
but whenever you have a community and for the most part, most of Meridian wants to live honestly and earn their living, that they like it. You know, they say it is successful. And so we're still pressing on.
All right. Well, thank you on that. And let me ask this. In the morning, as you head out to go to work, we still need to be cautious where we come up on red lights and watch out for debris maybe hanging in the road. Am I correct on all that?
Yes, I would. I would pay closer attention to it because look, you know, there may be some big oak limbs or pine limbs that are still hanging down or whatever, and it could be just a little windy and it could cause it to fall. So just be mindful, you know, pay attention to your surroundings and stuff. But for the most part, I know that Public Works Division and other divisions are cleaning up the streets real well. I know that 19 North, I think we still have a light out there. We did as of this afternoon. So just pay attention to that. Be mindful of that, and everything will be fine. I think there's 2 local schools right now that do not have school tomorrow in the city, to my understanding, because of the power issue. But they're working on that, and hey, we're gonna move on forward and get past this. My goodness, we've had an awesome year as far as weather all around, haven't we? Winter storm and all of those things. So.
Well, Chris, thank you for joining us tonight, and get back to your supper. I'm sure it's about supper time at your house, and thank you for talking with us and telling us what's going on in the city.
Yeah, thank you. And just real quick, Scotty, I want to tell you this. We really appreciate you because I'm telling you right now, even last night, even with the technical difficulties, I've seen more people tuning into you and watching you, and even we couldn't get in contact via phone, but my wife was still watching you and giving out live updates and giving people and people without power could still tune in to you. So I appreciate you, and I know the community appreciates getting information out like that.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you. I do appreciate that whole
bunch.
Yes,
sir. Hey, yes, sir. You be blessed, and call me anytime.
All right, we'll do, Chris. Again, the Chief of Police here, Meridian, Chris Reed. Thank you so much, my friend.
Yes, sir. You be blessed.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Again, Police Chief Chris Reed, give us an update of what's going on in Meridian, and that's where we're at. And let me change screens here as Chris takes off that. We've spoken to EMEPA tonight. We got a rundown. They're going to probably work through midnight, our power companies. The city, there's no curfew tonight. We have a couple of schools that in the city that may not have power in the morning, so there's a chance they may not attend. We'll get that information out to you. I don't have all of that in front of me at the present time. watch your red lights in the morning as you're going to work. Maybe one's out. We don't want anybody in a wreck by any means. I had a chance. I had to take my mother for an appointment today, and I saw a wreck on on North Hill Street today. It's tough trying to get from one side of North Hill Street to the other, pulling out. That happens, and I saw that earlier this afternoon. But overall, at the end of the day, as we touched on this with the police chief, watch these scams, because there's a lot of damage to homes, and people that want to take advantage and earn a quick buck will come in. And if you don't know them, and if your neighbor doesn't know them, I don't think I would use them. Make sure it's a reputable company, somebody that's here that you've heard of before. Make sure that's who you use, whether it's in Meridian or Louisville if you're watching, in DeKalb, Quitman. We've got folks that watch from all areas here, and just be careful who you're fooling with. Make sure it's somebody that you know of. It's always that old network of your friend knows them is usually the best. So that's where we are. Again, I'll be back in the morning at 6:30 with a weather update. We'll get into all your weather, and then Candace will join us at 8:30. We'll do a morning show for you, and don't forget we've got our little announcement in the morning coming up. That's going to be tomorrow. That we'll tell you what good news we have. That's all coming up. Thank you for dropping by and spending a few moments with me here at Scotty Ray's Weather.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by